Hello, and welcome to the second part of the Halloween special on Shouting into the Void. Last week, Lewis did storytelling into the void, and where he read an extract. I think it was Salem's Lot, which is one of his favourite books. Apparently, it's very scary. I sadly have not read it because I'm too busy speculating about Michael Myers and Halloween, because I think that's far more important. Just it's well up there in priorities about what needs to be talked about. So Halloween Kills has come out, and I thought, well, I mean, you're really late on it because it's now November and you're doing a second part to a Halloween special, but I may as well talk about some stuff that I know about the franchise. And we've got Dougie in the chat as well. So if Dougie wants to correct me, hello, yep, he's just said hello. If he wants to correct me in some stuff, then he's absolutely more than welcome. I'm not sure how much he knows about Halloween or its significance, but we'll get into it, I suppose. There are like multiple timelines with Halloween, and this is mainly going to be about Michael Myers and what I think about the character and how he's been done and how he's been portrayed. I've seen the original, perfect, because the original always beats the newcomers, I think. At least Freddy Krueger was funny. Yeah, Michael doesn't have many one-liners, does he? He doesn't get many sort of chances to be witty, I guess. The only thing that I've ever laughed at with Michael Myers is in The Return of Michael Myers, where he gets rammed with a car and he sort of flies back like that, like a sort of rag doll. He does in my fan edit. Oh, you've done a fan edit? Oh, well, you should be trailblazing this then. But it was a joke. No one could tell, Dougie. No one was able to decipher that. But anyway, yeah, so there are multiple timelines in the Halloween franchise, and for those of you that don't know, Halloween is a horror movie franchise about a guy called Michael Myers who has a very unhealthy fixation with sibling love. That's the way I'll put it. He was 6 years old and he killed his sister, and ever since he has been, well, it depends on which timeline you watch, but he I think everyone can sort of agree that he has been trying to recreate the feeling that he got when he killed his sister on Halloween night in 1970 or whatever. I have no idea what year it was, but so the first Halloween was a very low budget film, and if you watch the movies that made us, it gives us a good sort of idea of like just how low budget it was. It was very sort of boots on the ground type thing, and it was very accidental. None of the sort of lore was around it. If it came out, I think the events in the first Halloween that happened like 15 years after when Michael was supposed to have killed Judith. I'll be going back and forth with what Dougie's saying, because I normally have Lewis to do this, but so he's not here. He's gallivanting or whatever it is he does in the Staffordshire Moorlands. So first Halloween, classic, very well done. Made an awful lot of money for a very low budget film. None of the lore was really in there. It was just a guy in a mask who killed his sister, and then 15 years later, when he had the chance to escape, came back to his town to wreak havoc, and he became fixated on one particular individual, which is Laurie Strode, who's played by Jamie Lee Curtis. And from there, in Halloween 2, a bit more is sort of explained. Michael's invulnerability is sort of put forward as an idea, as a big theme moving forward in the franchise. It's not explained as to why he's invulnerable at this point. Interestingly, there's a scene where the word Samhain is written on, I think it's a classroom wall, and it means it's a Celtic word for like it's a Celtic word for like a Scottish festival that takes place at Halloween. So that maybe gives like it means Halloween, yeah. So that maybe gives like a bit more sort of background about like maybe how Michael views himself as this sort of, you know, ritualistic figure who comes every Halloween to, you know, cause havoc and stuff like that. But a big sort of twist is revealed in the second film, and it's that Michael and Laurie are in fact brother and sister, and that's a big theme in the first timeline that we're going to be talking about, which is that I think it's known as the 4 to 6 timeline. So after Halloween 2, Michael isn't in Halloween 3 because John Carpenter, who created the franchise, I think he was going for an anthology sort of thing and wanted a sort of, oh, we've done Michael Myers and now it's masks being sold to children, and they like kill the so it's more like, it's like Black Mirror for Halloween, but that movie didn't do too well because it's like, well, we came to see Michael Myers and the idea was quickly abandoned. So in Halloween 4, Michael Myers returns, and it's no longer about Michael and Laurie. It's about Michael and Jamie, who is Laurie's daughter. It's daughter. And throughout those films, it's slowly, well, not really that slow, it's gradually sort of hinted at that they two have a very sort of unique psychic bond together. And then it's eventually explained that the reason that Michael does what he does and is as strong as he is because a curse was put on him by a sort of weird druid cult, and he's sort of destined to kill his family. And it's speculated as to that might be the reason why he's kept alive. Donald Pleasence, who plays Dr. Loomis, is in those films. And he's a great actor. His ending was pretty shit, to be honest, because it was like, it was a sort of B-roll type affair where nothing was really explained at the end of that sort of franchise. And it's really rather disappointing. But there are some good kills in that sort of timeline, so I would definitely give it a look. First timeline, they're brother and sister, and Michael is the result of a curse where he kills his family. And I'll explain my thoughts once we've gone through them all. The second timeline is the H2O timeline, where only the first two films are considered canon, and 20 years later, we catch up with Laurie, who is sort of recovering from the events that took place. She now has a son from a failed marriage. She has like an alcohol problem, and Michael returns, and it's a sort of big face-off type thing. And if I'm honest, I really like that they focus on Michael and Laurie, because I don't really give a fuck about Jamie. I never really did. I found those films quite boring. I think it's so much better if you focus on the relationship between Michael and Laurie. And sadly, Dr. Loomis, played by Donald Pleasence, his sort of role was cut short in the last timeline, so we don't really see him again. So Michael comes back, and a lot of killing happens, death and all that, and it's appeared that Michael dies at the end of that film because Laurie chops his head off. But then I was going to do, but wait, there's more, from Scary Movie, but I thought that might have been a bit much, but I did it anyway and explained why I didn't do it. So there's another film after that called Resurrection, where it turns out that it wasn't Michael, it was a guy wearing Michael's mask, and Michael is in fact still alive. So oh shit, so he's alive. And one of the first things that they do in that film is kill off Jamie Lee Curtis's character. So the person that is like, right, it's 20 years later and we're going to catch up with Laurie, and this is how she deals with the trauma of her brother coming to kill her. And rather than overcoming her sadistic brother, he succeeds and fucking kills her. And there's another relative that's like, no one cares about. It's like a baby. And paramedic. Yeah, it was a paramedic. And it's this baby that no one really has any emotional ties to. So they kill her off, and then the rest of the film is like a weird haunted house type deal where there's cameras everywhere and there are people in there pretending to be Michael Myers, and it's like a haunted house type situation. And Michael tries to like kill this baby, and then like they ripped off Scream. Yeah, they did. They used the soundtrack for Scream in H2O, and I think they used it in Resurrection, but you might need to correct me on that. Dougie, how does Resurrection end? I've actually forgotten how it ends. It's just it's raining as well. Doesn't he turn out to be a ghost spirit thing? Oh, I fucking hope not. I can't remember the last time I seen Resurrection. Wait a minute, let's search it live right now. Halloween Resurrection. Wikipedia. Can I go wrong with Wikipedia? Plot. Okay, after Sarah. Fake corpses, like the party. Sarah in her bedroom. Michael again arrives and attacks Sarah, but still living Freddy fights him off. Michael is presumed dead and his body is taken to the morgue. However, as the coroner prepares to examine it, right? Okay, so yeah, so it appears that he's dead, but then he isn't dead. Okay, yeah, so it's a pretty routine way of ending the franchise. Everyone thinks Michael's dead. He isn't dead. And that is the H2O timeline. The H2O was a good idea. Resurrection was not a good idea. It was a fucking horrible film. It was really, really, really bad. They shouldn't have killed off Laurie, but they did. And they focused on characters who are essentially cannon fodder that you really have no interest in whatsoever. So, timeline number 3 is the remake timeline by Rob Zombie. And it's what it's called. It's a fucking remake. But instead of the whole, I met this boy and he had the blackest eyes, lifeless eyes, pure evil. So there's actually a sort of sociological explanation as to why Michael is the way he is. He is killing animals when he's young. He has a very dysfunctional home life. His stepdad is horrible to him. His sister's very neglectful. And yeah, it's Rob Zombie's remakes are shite. Yeah. So, and Michael's first kill isn't actually his sister. It's a bully that bullies him. And yeah, it's a strange sort of way to take it, but it was different. I'll give him that. And instead of like a sort of clown mask, Michael has like an actual Captain Kirk mask that he'd has kept under his bed, and it's like huge, so it looks like really, really stupid. Rather than like it just being Michael finds a mask and just puts it on and then kills, it's like, no, it has to be that one. It was always a Captain Kirk mask. Yeah, that's true, but in the lore of the universe, it's not because Michael has like a psychic or a sort of really profound need for that mask. It's because he robbed a store and that was one of the masks that were in there. Well, it was the 70s, so it was an Admiral car. Oh, Admiral, get a load of... Yeah, so, yeah, and after that, Dr. Loomis is replaced by Malcolm McDowell, which is a weird choice to make. I think he's good. He's a good actor in that film. And then after that, it's literally a carbon copy remake of the first Halloween film, and the second I can't actually remember because I watched it a very long time ago. Have you seen Halloween 2, directed by Rob Zombie? This is not a very good... Nope. Well, do you know what? We're just going to ignore that. I'm going to assume it was shit. So it's interesting. It's more of a sociological explanation for evil. And, that's... You could argue that that's maybe a better way of doing it. I have no idea. But it's not really my cup of tea, I'm afraid. And the final timeline is the timeline that we're in at the moment. We're living through it at the moment, and it's the 2018 timeline, and it started with Halloween. Yeah, Halloween. A lot of fucking horror movies are doing that nowadays, like remakes or sequels. Scream's doing it, even though it's like a continuation of the story. So there was Scream 1, which is just called Scream, Scream 2, Scream 3, Scream 4, and Scream. So there are 2 Screams now, and the same thing with Halloween. Halloween 2018 focuses entirely on the events of the first Halloween film. Halloween 2 doesn't exist. Jamie Lee Curtis is not Michael Myers' sister. The two of them are just adversaries in that sense. And Michael just has a sort of fixation on her. And Michael doesn't kill because of a curse or, because of sociological reasons. He just is some sort of unknown force of evil, which I actually prefer, to be honest. I like that we don't know. I like that there's not some convoluted explanation as to why Michael does what he does. I think the Final Destination works well that way too. How do you mean? While he's typing that, I don't think I lost my train of thought. Death is an unnatural force. Yeah, like he's. I like the Sam Hain thing. I like to believe that Michael views himself as this like sort of festival orientated killer who shows up every Halloween to kill, and that is what he does, and that is what he believes in, and he just wants to experience what he experienced when he killed his sister when he was a child. I like that his invulnerability isn't explained either. I like that we don't know why he just doesn't die, but he ages. It's so much in Scream, to quote Scream, it's see, it's a lot scarier when there's no motive, Sid. It's I always get Scream and Scary Movie confused. Scary Movie's quite popular at the moment, and I remember watching it when I was a kid, and it was I used to find that scary. Actually, Scary Movie, not even Scream. I wasn't allowed to watch Scream, but I was allowed to watch Scary. Scream was originally titled Scary Movie. Well, there you go. And a whole franchise came off of that as well. Maybe we'll review Scary Movie at some point, the Scary Movie franchise. Yeah, but I think that the new Halloween films suffer in terms of not knowing how to balance horror and comedy, especially in Halloween 2018. There's a lot of sort of shit humour in it, a lot of shit humour. I'm not there to see a fucking comedy. I'm not there to see teenagers crack jokes about, sex and dicks and all that. It's just not. I want to see Michael Myers escape from a sanatorium and have havoc. It's like the original Halloween had sort of teenager humour in it, but it wasn't like the film was expecting you to laugh. It was just weird just watching these people be normal, whereas there's a scene where this kid in it is Oh man, oh, he doesn't realize that it's Michael, and he's saying all this like, stuff to him, and he's like drunk and all that, and it's like people are laughing. It's like, no, why is this a thing? And then even when he gets like stabbed, it's like comical. He's like, oh my god, oh my god. It is a bit like Scary Movie. It's like that scene where oh, I can't remember her name in the changing room is like, oh, is this a part where I'm supposed to beg for my life? And then like she gets stabbed, and then she's like, oh, is this the part where I'm supposed to bleed? And even the killer's like, why are you not like scared? It's like that. Yeah, we've moved past the comedy bit. It is now horrifying, and even to the point where our head gets like hacked off. It's like, oh, I'm all dead. I'm a gross, scary severed head. It's like, yeah, we get it. It's like maybe a bit of comedy's fine before a kill, but once it's done, it's horrifying now, and I don't want to see someone go, oh my god. It is painful. It is painful. Halloween Kills. I went to see that before I got COVID. I have COVID at the moment. And it was... I mean, it says what the title does. You know, it is literally Michael Myers going about killing people for an entire film. So if that's what you want to see, that's what you're going to get. It had no direction, I don't think, if that's a fair thing to say, because it muddled the perspective of who we're meant to be following. It started, the film is it starts with a flashback sequence where it does, to give credit to the director, it actually looks like a sort of 1970s film the way it's filmed, so that was really enjoyable. But for some reason, Sheriff Hawkins can't shoot for shit. And we think, oh, right, okay, so we're not focusing on Laurie anymore, we're going to focus on this guy, and it's going to be his story to deal with Michael. And then we jump from like 8 different people, like original cast members of the original film, whether they were kids or like teenagers at the time. And Laurie, who's meant to be the protagonist in this, it's meant to be like her story about how she deals with the trauma and how she's like a recluse and stuff like that, is literally in a hospital, just like Halloween 2 for the entire film, but at least it actually had some direction, that film. So Halloween Kills sort of sets up this big confrontation between Laurie and Michael, and, you know, that's probably a good thing. And the next film is going to be called Halloween Ends, which we know it won't, because there's going to be other fucking films, so I don't know why they're going that way. Yeah, but those are the timelines as they are. And as to what one I prefer, Halloween 18, The Revenge of the Jedi. Dougie's succeeded in, as in no end. Well, Dougie, like, I think Michael Myers returning actually had a better explanation than why Palpatine returned, you know, because we know that Michael is like impervious and stuff, and Palpatine is just, somehow Palpatine returned. It's like there's so, I have spoken. I do sound a bit like that with this cough. But anyway, you're distracting me. As to which timeline I prefer, I'm torn, because the brother and sister thing, it sort of gives a bit of humanization to Michael, and while that can be good for like villains and stuff, I don't think it works for Michael at all. I think it's so much better that he's a force of evil that is literally beyond reason. You can maybe have people who think, no, he's a man, we can reason with him, we can try and fix him, but ultimately it winds up being proven wrong or gets them killed. I think it's so much better that he is unknowable and unreasonable, and the only possible way to survive him is to just try and kill him, even though he can't be killed. But also at the same time, the brother and sister thing, I like the idea that there is a way that you can get rid of Michael, but you have to sacrifice all of the family members in Laurie's sort of family line. That could have been really interesting. If like Donald Pleasance was still with us, like in the 4 to 6 timeline, he gets like more manic and sort of erratic and actually tries to kill Laurie's daughter at one point because like she's becoming more psychically connected with Michael, and maybe he has to make a difficult choice about killing Laurie or something like that. That could be like interesting. If there was like a way to do that without like humanizing Michael, that would be cool. And it would be nice to actually see Michael Myers die at some point. Like, actually, no, he is stopped in this timeline, and that's it. It's done, you know. And then maybe you can do another timeline if you really want to. Sometimes monsters work better when they're monsters. Yeah, exactly. But you know, I would like to see it succeed at some point. I just want to talk about another thing. There was a thing. It's sort of surfing TikTok at the moment, and you know me, I'm a big fan of TikTok. There was apparently a controversy in Halloween Kills because Michael kills firefighters. Dougie, do you have any thoughts on that? I mean, I think that's like, I mean, Michael kills literally every single person in every single profession. You know, I don't see why firefighters should be like given a consideration. Kill equally, yes. The equality of death. That's the way I look at it. But in terms of sort of last words and all that, I really like the Halloween franchise. I've liked it for a very long time, and I think that as disappointing as some of the new films are, I hold out hope for how they end this trilogy, and I think that they could maybe do something a bit different if they really wanted to. But you know, who knows? But yeah, so I think I'm done. And you want to say, Dougie, before I do some awful capitalist shilling? Not really. Okay, amazing. Yes. We all have Linktrees. Lewis isn't here, but I'm going to read his out anyway because I'm such a good friend. Lewis's Linktree is linktr.ee/Lewis_Brindley. Mine's is /O'Hiram. And the podcast is /Shouting into the Void. There you will find our socials, our Instagram, our YouTube, our Facebook. So go there, give us a like, give us a subscribe, leave a cheeky wee comment if you're feeling frisky. And yeah, check us out. We have a PayPal donate button, so anything you can spare, anything you can spare, anything at all will be greatly appreciated. We also have Patreon, and we want to take the opportunity, as we do every week, to thank our wonderful, wonderful patrons. Chloe, thank you. Darius, thank you. Peter, thank you. Aditya, thank you. Natalie, thank you. And Dougie, who is in the chat. And thank you, Dougie, especially for sticking with me through this and, you know, helping me out with the comments and that, and leaving your cheeky wee, you wee minx. We also have merch on Teespring and Redbubble. You know, we sell tote bags, jumpers, mugs, stickers, socks, all sorts of shit. Go get yourself something nice, because Christmas is nearly here, and I say that every time, but Christmas is nearly here, so what are you doing with yourself? Mazel tov, there you go. And last but certainly not least, we are partnered with an amazing company called Number 12 Crochet Avenue, and they are on Instagram, and I believe they're on Facebook as well, and it is a company run by Lewis's amazing wife, and they do some amazing works with crochet and stuff. Lewis does this bit of the ad every week, and he is much more articulate when it comes to me, so I've been sort of thrown on the spot, but seriously, they are a fantastic company, and should really give them a look out if you're interested in crochet and the like. So, yeah, I think that's us. And any other last notes, Dougie, before we wrap it up? Nope. Okay. Well, that is the end of the Halloween specials. This is the second part. I hope you've had an amazing Halloween, and I hope you've had an amazing bonfire night and stuff like that. And yeah, we should be back to our regularly scheduled programme. What we're going to review next is Dune, which is a new film, and I'm very excited about reviewing that. And we also have an interview coming up with an actor / writer / director and / voice coach, so that should be interesting. And Doctor Who Flux has come out as well, so when that's done, we'll do a video on that. We've got a lot to do, and we've got a huge video in the works that we've been working on for months, which may contain some horror, may not. Who knows? I do. You don't. Have a good evening, and I will see you, hear you, smell you, kill you because of a druid curse, and never die and continuously be pumped out every year like the Lord of Death and Sam Hain next time. Bye.